Don't you see how I treat that kid? I treat that kid like he's my son.
He ain't your son. He's my son.
He's what?
He's my son.
Hey, get the fuck out of here.
I'm not afraid of you.
Well, you shouldn't.
I know who you are, Sonny. I know what you're capable of, and I would never step out of line. You could ask anybody in this neighborhood who knows me. But this time you're wrong. You don't fool with a man's family. This is my son, not yours.
What are you gonna do, fight
You
me?
stay away from my
Get
son.
out of here before I give you a fucking slap.
You just stay away from my son.
Go ahead.
I don't care who you are. You stay away from my son.
Welcome back to Mo Recap. Today's film is a crime drama from 1993 titled A Bronx Tale. Let's dive into our movie recap. In 1960s New York, a father's worst nightmare comes true when a dangerous mob boss befriends his young son. The film begins in 1960 in a working-class Italian-American neighborhood in the Bronx. Lorenzo works as a bus driver to provide for his wife Rosina and their 9-year-old son Calogero, who was fascinated by the mafia presence and criminal activity in his neighborhood. Lorenzo drops off Calogero as his mother watches from above. Before heading upstairs, Calogero sneaks into the bar next door called Chez Bippy, where mafia boss Sonny and his crew hang out. As he sneaks a peek, Calogero narrates an introduction of the people there. Although Tony Toupee is the owner, Calogero claims that it's really Sonny's place. Eddie Mush is a degenerate gambler with horrible luck. Calogero claims they call him Mush because everything he touches turns to mush. Jojo the Whale. If you stare at Jojo long enough, you'll see him get fatter by the hour. Frankie Coffee Cake got his name because his face looks like coffee cake. Jimmy Whispers is Sonny's main man. They call him Whispers because everything is a secret to him. Rosina snatches Calogero and scolds him for going inside the bar. She instructs him to wait in front of the store while she picks up some groceries. Before they go upstairs, he receives more scolding from his father when he returns home from work, who orders him to never go around the bar again. The next day, Calogero and his friends Slick and Mario watch Sonny smack around Frankie Coffee Cake and take turns impersonating Sonny's crew. When a bus carrying black kids passes through their neighborhood as they hang out, Slick is infuriated. Calogero advises him that they are simply passing by and not to pay attention, but Slick responds that this is how it always begins before chasing after the bus while yelling racist insults. Lorenzo is enraged when he sees this and signals for Calogero to meet him by the stairs. As he sits on the stairs, he witnesses a fight between one of Sonny's men and another driver over a parking space. When the driver begins swinging a baseball bat at Sonny's guy, Sonny opens fire on him before walking up and firing 2 more shots, point blank, killing the driver. Lorenzo quickly grabs Calogero and rushes him upstairs while Rosina rushes to make sure he's okay. Minutes later, the police arrive and inform Lorenzo that they know Calogero was downstairs at the time of the shooting and want him to identify the shooter from a lineup. They line up Sonny and his crew and walk Calogero through each one, but Calogero does not point out Sonny and instead informs the officers that none of them are the shooter. As Lorenzo walks him upstairs, Calogero boasts that he didn't snitch. He asks Lorenzo if he did a good thing, but Lorenzo replies that he did a good thing for a bad man. He tells Calogero that sometimes in life, you gotta do certain things that you gotta do, even though they're not right. The following day, as Lorenzo drops off Calogero, he notices a newfound respect from Sonny. Jimmy Whispers boards the bus and shows his gratitude for Calogero not ratting Sonny out. Sonny offers Lorenzo a job that would make him a lot of money. Now, all he has to do is drop off numbers on his bus route. But Lorenzo respectfully declines, not wanting to get involved in Sonny's criminal dealings. As Calogero prepares for bed at night, he witnesses the funeral of the man Sonny shot. The next day, while Calogero is fixing his bike, one of Sonny's men tells him that Sonny wants to see him and leads the way over. Sonny takes a liking to Calogero and offers him a job serving drinks in the bar, which brings in a lot of tips. Later, while the crew is gambling with dice, Sonny calls Calogero over and asks him to throw a few rounds. Calogero hits 11 passes in a row, making a lot of money for Sonny. After the game, Sonny gives Calogero a generous tip before he heads home and decides to give him a nickname, telling him that from now on he will be referred to as C. Sonny treats Little C like a son, and as word gets out about C and Sonny, Little C quickly notices a shift in the way people in his neighborhood interact with him, with a newfound respect. Phil the peddler hands him a bag of peaches and refuses to accept payment as long as he tells Sonny that he looked after him. As he runs up with the peaches, Lorenzo and Rosina have discovered his stash of money and want to know where it came from. Lorenzo is furious when C informs him that the money was earned while working for Sonny, and he rushes to the bar to return it. Lorenzo is adamantly opposed and won't listen to Rosina when she says that they can really use the money. Lorenzo throws the money on Sonny's table and tells him that they can't accept it and wants him to stay away from his son. but Sonny responds that he didn't give it to him, but rather to his son. Sonny asks C to wait outside while they talk, and as he walks away, Sonny tells Lorenzo that he is a good guy and that he respects him, but warns him not to talk to him that way ever again. Sonny informs Lorenzo that he treats C like a son, but Lorenzo replies that it's what he sees around the bar, the clothes, the cars, and the money. Lorenzo warns Sonny to stay away from his son, which angers Sonny. He orders Lorenzo to get out before he gets slapped. On the way home, C is upset and demands his money back. Lorenzo is forced to smack him when C raises his voice. C tells Lorenzo that Sonny was right, the working man is a sucker, but Lorenzo replies that it doesn't take much to pull a trigger. Let him get up in the morning day after day and work for a living. He tells C that the working man is the real tough guy. Lorenzo apologizes for hitting C and tells him that he'll understand when he gets older. Fast forward to the future. Sonny is at the races with a now older C in the gang. They are all betting on the leading horse, Kryptonite, and as they celebrate, Eddie Mush enters also cheering for Kryptonite. Sonny tears their tickets and starts to exit, knowing that they will lose since Bad Luck Mush also bet on the same horse. But C stays behind to make sure. Sure enough, another horse takes the lead shortly after, winning the race. C and his friends have formed their own social club, Deuces Wild, where they spend the majority of their time just hanging out. They are triggered when a car with black people passes by, but C claims that there is no concern and that they are simply passing through. But Slick and the boys claim that they have no business passing through their neighborhood. As they argue, Lorenzo stops by and motions for C to join him. Lorenzo asks C if he wants to go to the boxing matches tomorrow, but C is staring at a girl across from him and isn't hearing his father. When C is dropped off, he notices a man named Louie who owes him $20. He goes chasing after him, but Sonny calls him over and wants to know what's going on. Sonny explains that sometimes hurting someone isn't the answer. He claims that it only costs $20 to get Louie out of his life and thinks C got off cheap and wants him to forget it. C is amazed and tells Sonny that he is always right, but Sonny responds that if he was always right, he wouldn't have spent 10 years in prison. He tells C about a book written by Machiavelli and explains the importance of availability that Machiavelli discussed. He tells C that he can live in any neighborhood he wants, but he chooses to live here because of availability. He explains that being on the spot means he is close to everything and can see trouble immediately. He advises C to only worry about himself, his family, and the people that are important to him. Shortly after, a passing motorcycle gang decides to stop for beers. When Jimmy Whispers tries to kick them out for not being properly dressed, Sonny intervenes and allows them to have their drinks. However, when things get out of hand and they start throwing their beer all over Tony Toupee, Sonny comes back to kick them out. When they insult him and refuse to leave, he locks the bar door and informs them that they can no longer leave, which immediately makes them all realize what a huge mistake they have made. Seconds later, Sonny's crew emerges from the back door and viciously beats them with no mercy. Nicky Zero is outside the bar at night displaying the guns he has for sale, but when Sonny walks by and sees what's going on, he becomes enraged and slaps Nicky, claiming he's making the place hot and will get everyone arrested. He kicks everyone out but wants C to stay. He explains that his friends are all jerk-offs who will get him in trouble and that having a gun does not make him a man. He doesn't want C to do the things he does, claiming that this life isn't for him. The next day, C is taken aback when he sees the girl from the bus and is delighted to learn they will be attending the same school. When his friends want to go out and hang out, C lies about having to take a test in order to stay and talk to the girl he sees standing alone. He talks to her after an awkward introduction and discovers her name is Jane. He walks her home and they agree to meet the next day for a movie date. Later, while C and his friends are hanging out, they're angered again when they see black people riding bicycles around the neighborhood. C tells them they're not bothering anyone and tries to convince them to leave them alone, but Slick is curious about C's recent advocacy for black people. Slick lashes out at one of the black cyclists, and the rest of the group soon follows suit, attacking them. C pretends to also participate in the attack, while at the same time persuading one of the cyclists to stay down so he won't be attacked by the crew. Sonny is enraged when he discovers that they are acting like hooligans and once again advises C to stay away from his friends, who are nothing but trouble, telling him that they will all be either dead or in jail. C seeks Sonny's advice on dating a black girl and is surprised when Sonny tells him that the only thing that matters is what is best for C and how they feel about each other, and that he should follow his heart. Sonny offers to let C use his car to make a good impression and wants him to put Jane through the Sonny test, telling C that when he unlocks her door and lets her in the car, As he goes around the back to unlock his door, if Jane doesn't reach over and unlock his button, he advises C to dump her. C also seeks Lorenzo's advice, claiming a friend who wants to date a black girl. Lorenzo tells him that he has no problem with black people, but believes that when it comes to marriage, they should marry within their own. C tells him how prejudiced that is and wonders what he would say if he wanted to date a black girl, but Lorenzo says that he would never do that. C meets Jane for their date and learns that her brother was beaten by Italians the day before. Jane wants to know if he had anything to do with it. C denies being there, but Jane has brought her brother to see if he recognizes C. When he comes out of the car, he tells Jane that C was the guy who attacked him. C lashes out and in the heat of the moment calls him the N-word and instantly regrets it as Jane hurries off with her brother. C returns the car, and when Sonny asks why he's back so early, C replies that it didn't work out before rushing away. Lorenzo gets in C's face about driving Sonny's car and wants him to stay away from the bar, but C tells him that Sonny trusts him. Lorenzo responds that Sonny doesn't trust anyone. He tells C that people don't respect Sonny. They fear him, and there's a big difference. He wants C to be someone who works for a living and cares for his family. C tells Lorenzo that the working man is a sucker because he thinks Lorenzo is a bus driver with nothing to show for it. C storms out only to discover that their club has been egged and his friends are already preparing to retaliate. Sonny pulls up before they can pick up C and the guys scatter. Sonny is furious as he grabs C and demands to know where he went with the car. He informs C that the car contained a bomb that did not explode and demands to know where C was. After smacking C several times and demanding the truth, he finally appears to believe C as he eases off him. C tells him that he has been like a father to him and that he would never hurt Sonny. When Lorenzo rushes to find out what's going on, he gets punched to the ground. Sonny tells him that the next time he opens his mouth, he should know what's going on. C walks away and comes across his crew, who are parked and waiting for him. They've packed Molotov cocktails and are on their way to retaliate. C joins them, but later regrets it, and is unsure how to leave without appearing like a coward. Sonny appears at a red light, banging on the window, ordering C to get out of the car and smashing Slick's face into the dashboard for telling Sonny to relax. Before leaving, Sonny gives them one last stern warning to stay away from C. In the car, C tells Sonny that he can't believe that after all this time, Sonny doesn't trust him. When Sonny tells him that he doesn't trust anyone, C thinks it's a horrible way to live. But Sonny tells him that's the only way he knows how to live. When they arrive there, Sonny's men inform C that a girl was looking for him a short while ago. C rushes off and runs into Jane, who tells him that her brother told her the truth about C helping him. C tells Jane that he wants to be with her and doesn't care what anyone thinks. Shortly after their first kiss, C recalls that Slick and the guys are on their way to Jane's neighborhood and instructs her to quickly get in the car. As he walks around the car, he sees Jane reaching over to unlock his door and jumps up in excitement. Slick and the boys arrive in a predominantly black neighborhood and begin shooting indiscriminately, followed by Molotov cocktails. One of the bottles does not explode and is thrown back at their car, eventually landing inside. It explodes seconds later, along with the remaining unused cocktails, igniting the car. C and Jane arrive to find the bodies of the guys laid out on the pavement. C isn't sure whether he should be happy to be alive or sad that his friends are dead. He runs back to the bar to see Sonny. He arrives to find that there's a party inside. As he walks through the crowd towards Sonny, he notices someone approaching Sonny with a gun in hand. He screams, but it's too late to prevent him from firing his weapon and killing Sonny. The guy that pulled the trigger is the son of the guy Sonny killed 8 years ago in front of C. At Sonny's memorial service, C is dismayed to see people talking business and casually conversing as if no one cares. Eventually, everyone leaves except for C. As he is saying his final goodbyes to Sonny, he meets a man who introduces himself as Carmine and informs C that he will be taking over the neighborhood. He informs him that Sonny has told him about C and wants him to come see him if he ever needs anything. C realizes that in the end, both men who shaped his life, his father and Sonny, taught him valuable lessons. Lorenzo showed him the dignity of honest work, while Sonny taught him about loyalty and street wisdom. Now, standing between two worlds, C must choose his own path. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos.